it's The Undertaker, because there has been no sign or no hint of The Undertaker coming in to work a program for WrestleMania until this particular point in time. And if they're going to get something going for The Undertaker for WrestleMania, right now would be the perfect time to do it and get the ball rolling, because we're only a few weeks out from the event, and nothing has been done for somebody like The Undertaker. And usually for The Undertaker's match, whoever he's working a program with, they start around January month, and they do something at the Royal Rumble, and they lead it into the following pay-per-view, and so on. But now, with The Undertaker being one of those wrestlers who only comes in for the big events like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series, it seems like they'll put it off and put it off and put it off and put it off, unless he's going to be working a huge name like somebody like Sting, who's another guy who the promos could be pertaining to, simply because Sting has been signed to WWE for a one-year deal. I think that, the logic conclusion has been made by a lot of fans that obviously it is The Undertaker. And another thing that it could be is Sting, because the theme of the promo is, they got the darkness, and they have the rain, and they have this house. And it seems like a type of promo that would, be attached to someone like Sting, because we saw Sting's promos in WCW and how they were recorded and produced. Obviously, something along those lines is now being done for WWE, kind of a WWE feel to it. And it could really be anybody. It's one of those two. I will say that. It's either Sting or The Undertaker, and it's going to lead to something being done like an Undertaker-Sting program, which has never been done in the past. We saw how WWE did the whole, Rock Goldberg thing, and how stupid that was, the one match they did for a Backlash pay-per-view in 2003. Right around the same time, they brought in names like Kevin Nash and Scott Steiner. Around January and May month. For the first 5 or 6 months of 2003, it seemed like all the storylines revolved around somebody coming in and working a program. They brought in Sting, they brought in Kevin Nash, Scott Steiner, and Goldberg all in the same year, and really ruined their characters. And the only place they really could go after that was TNA Wrestling, where they came from in the first place. So, I really don't know who it could be right now. The promo, I will say this about the promo. The promo is absolutely phenomenal. The promo is one of the best Undertaker promos, or one of the best Sting promos, whoever the promos relate to. It's one of the best promos we have seen put together for that particular person in years. We saw the promos for Sting, how they were done in WCW. Very, very well done. And this promo just leaves you wondering every week as to who it could be. In the promos, there's a certain date as to when the person is going to premiere on either Raw or SmackDown. Obviously, it's going to be the night after a pay-per-view, and just a few weeks before WrestleMania. Obviously, they're going to have him work in a program with somebody. If it's Sting, obviously the logical conclusion is going to be made by a wrestling fan that it's going to be Sting and The Undertaker at this year's WrestleMania. Now, I know a lot of the choices have been thrown out there for this year's WrestleMania match, with Triple H not making his return just yet. Obviously, The Undertaker versus Triple H is a good choice. The Undertaker versus John Cena has been a choice. It's never been done at a WrestleMania. And with this guest host coming in for WrestleMania, that would be an awesome way for a match to be done. John Cena and The Undertaker, The Undertaker and Triple H obviously are choices. Wade Barrett was another choice for The Undertaker to face at WrestleMania, and Sheamus, given the fact that I really don't see Sheamus being involved in anything other than a Money in the Bank match. People like Wade Barrett and, Sheamus and Sting and people like that have no place at WrestleMania right now, so other than being involved in the Money in the Bank. So, putting them in a program with The Undertaker would be awesome, but they have to really get the ball rolling, and the delay for, The Undertaker's program this year at WrestleMania is absolutely unparalleled to anything that we've seen The Undertaker done. A lack of planning, a lack of interest is definitely the blame for all this on the part of WWE Creative, because as I said before, around this point in time of year, they usually have something started for The Undertaker for WrestleMania. Usually in the first or second week of January, they start something. They lead it into the Royal Rumble in the following pay-per-view, and a great storyline is done. Some of The Undertaker's best WrestleMania programs were definitely the first time that he faced Kane at WrestleMania 14 in 1998. That was an awesome program. The program that he worked with Shawn Michaels for, the first time that he faced Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania, and actually the first time in his career that he was able to attain a victory against Shawn Michaels, because in previous programs, Shawn Michaels obviously always got the better of The Undertaker and always found a way to retain the belt or become the number one contender. So that was an awesome way of doing it. The first program they worked in 2009 and then again in 2010 for Shawn Michaels' retirement was absolutely phenomenal. The program that he worked with Jake the Snake Roberts was great. The program that he worked with Superfly Jimmy Snuka was great. The program that he worked with Ray Traylor, better known as the Big Boss Man, for the Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania 15 was awesome. And the one match that he had with Triple H at WrestleMania 17 in Houston, Texas was absolutely phenomenal. Very brutal type of match. So we've seen, programs with The Undertaker at WrestleMania work that stood out and made The Undertaker become a phenom or gain the reputation, garner the reputation of being a WrestleMania phenom. And we've seen the programs that he's worked with people like King Kong Bundy and Mark Henry that absolutely had no place at a WrestleMania. That casket match that he worked with Mark Henry at WrestleMania 22 was absolutely stupid and pointless. So we've seen, phenomenal programs that really have made no sense. But this year's program, the promo is absolutely phenomenal, if indeed it is The Undertaker. No matter if it is The Undertaker, if it's Sting, if it's absolutely someone that I'm not making reference to for this week's audio commentary, the promo that they're putting together is definitely leaving you wondering, and it's definitely one of the best promos that they've had done in years, whoever it is. It's definitely not Kevin Nash, because the promo does not make sense. The promo seems to be something along the lines of a Raven promo from WCW, if you ask me. But I know it's not Raven, because I definitely, we saw Raven's run in WWE and how it landed him doing commentary for a short amount of time. And, his career definitely ended in WWE. WWE definitely ruined a character like Raven, and definitely they would ruin somebody like Sting or Kevin Nash right now too, because we saw all the people they brought in around 2003 and how they were able to ruin their characters. So I definitely see Sting, having his character ruined if it is Sting. But the promo with the boots and the jacket and the rain and the house and how they have a date, and it's just all planned out so well. But the fact that they're delaying it, if it's an Undertaker program this year, is absolutely stupid, because usually they have a few months to build up a match that the Undertaker is going to be having at WrestleMania. Is this going to be the guy that ends the Undertaker streak at WrestleMania? Is he going to be able to do it? Everybody up until this particular point in time has failed. The 20th Survivor Series was supposed to be the final time that The Undertaker was going to have, a run with the company. That was going to be how The Undertaker was going to go out, because it was going to mark The Undertaker's 20th year with the company. But obviously they're going to keep him around until this year's WrestleMania. Is this going to be the final time we're going to see The Undertaker at WrestleMania? Probably it is, because they brought in Paul Bearer and they thought it would be right and only fitting that The Undertaker had his original manager by his side when he retired. That would be an awesome way to have The Undertaker retire, have him drop the streak to someone like Sting or Wade Barrett or Sheamus or John Cena or even Triple H for the second time at WrestleMania, or even Kane. That would be an awesome way to do it. Have The Undertaker return like he did at WrestleMania 20, get over at his brother, and then go out. Obviously someone like The Undertaker is going to go out as a winner. If Kelly is going to retire as a winner, The Undertaker definitely deserves to. If The Undertaker lost at WrestleMania, it would be stupid. He deserves to be known as the guy who never lost at WrestleMania. If Hulk Hogan is known as the guy who never lost at SummerSlam, The Undertaker definitely deserves to be the guy who is known for never losing at WrestleMania and going like 20-0. at WrestleMania. Like I said, Survivor Series, his 20th year with the company, was supposed to be his final year. And for a while there, how they were hyping it up. WWE Magazine had an interesting article on how they profiled The Undertaker's, last 20 years with the company and how they were going to bring him out and have him end it at Survivor Series. For a while there, it seemed like WWE were, really hyping it that this was it for The Undertaker. This year at Survivor Series, or this year at WrestleMania, was going to be it for The Undertaker, but it seemed like they strayed away from it. Now they're airing these phenomenal promos that are obviously attached to The Undertaker. The Johnny Cash song that's being used for the promo has been used in Undertaker promos and match hypes in the past. I don't really see Johnny Cash and Sting, having, fitting alignment.